Let's see what we have here. What the? A jiggy? Feathers? Where did you find all of these?
They were just knocking about back there.
Why? Is there a problem?
Oh dear.
I mean, that's essentially what happened to Banjo-Kazooie fans waiting on Banjo 3 to come out. We're still waiting, Microsoft, whenever you're ready. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Game Preserve. My name is Jagger Newman, and I'm the war in these parts. And yeah, another pre-recorded video for you. Me and Lois, at this time, are probably rocking out with some Trans-Siberian Orchestra, so had to take some time to leave you guys the net showcase. And tonight we are playing Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. And I can hear some of the people who watch my channel saying, wait a minute, Bladeslinger, you don't play games back-to-back in one franchise. And why are you even doing this? Like, Banjo Pilot came out after Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. Yes, but it's also my YouTube channel and I can do what I want. So anyway, Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. So the original Banjo-Kazooie, it was one of the most popular games ever released for the Nintendo 64. The same can't really be said for Banjo-Tooie, though. While it definitely wasn't a bad game, in fact, it's arguably better than the first game, if you ask me. It just came at a bad time. It was the year 2000, I think, and interest in the N64 was just kind of waning, so it didn't sell as well as Rare and Nintendo were hoping for. And right after that, Rare got to work on the next game in the series, though it didn't make it very far past a tech demo for Space World as to what a Banjo-Kazooie game will look like on the GameCube. And this was primarily because some interesting things were happening behind the scenes. Though Rare heavily padded out the library of the N64, their last several games on the console weren't exactly the most profitable games. Games like Conker's Bad Fur Day and I think Jet Force Gemini actually bombed at retail, I think. So, like, they were sort of having a hard time financially, and they were hoping that Nintendo would pump some more money into the company by buying the other shares of the company. But for reasons that will forever baffle me, Nintendo opted not to take Rare up on that offer. And Nintendo's loss was Microsoft's gain, because they would make Rare an offer that they couldn't refuse, and it was unfortunately one that Nintendo couldn't refuse either. So it was that Rare parted ways with Nintendo and became a second-party developer for Microsoft, making games exclusively for the Xbox. Almost, though, because at the time, Rare had a couple of games in production for the Nintendo 64, not 64, the Game Boy Advance, and they had done a decent amount of work on them, so they weren't necessarily ready to, shelf those games. So Microsoft would actually work out a deal with THQ to publish their Game Boy Advance games independently of Microsoft. So yeah, it was cool that they were willing to let Rare do that. I think they would even let them be hired by Nintendo to port the Donkey Kong Country series to the Game Boy Advance. One of the first games that they released in this deal was Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge, which was the third game in the Banjo series. And unfortunately, it didn't do very well. The only reason I know about this game is because my little brother bought it when he was a kid. Like, he just was walking through Toys R Us, he saw Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge right there. It's like, oh, Banjo, I gotta have that. And that's how I ended up playing that. However, I don't have a lot of, memories playing this game per se. And since then, it's sort of become just that weird handheld entry in the series that most people tend to gloss over. In fact, I almost completely forgot to cover it for the showcase. My initial plan for December this year was to do Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts Nets, but now I gotta get this one done. That's also why I decided to look at Banjo Pilots this year as well. just so I don't have to put off Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts for another year, because I do have some things to say about that game. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. As to how I'm going to be playing this game, once again, no choice but to emulate with this one. This game has never officially been re-released. I do own a copy of the game. In fact, for Game Boy Advance games, I've kind of gotten into the habit of purchasing them so I can feel what it's like to play them on hardware. So, yeah, we're going to have to do this. So, Nintendo got a problem with it. It's your own damn fault. Just, help Rare re-release these games, damn it. Man, Game Boy Advance games always look awful when you beat them up like this. These pictures look so clear when you were looking at them on a small Game Boy screen. That kind of goes for the title too, and I actually do kind of like this title. It does sort of create the same effect as, the Banjo-Tooie screen. I feel like Grunty's Revenge is sort of haphazardly put on there though. And it's also sort of a weird title too. Wasn't Grunty's Revenge part of the plot of Banjo-Tooie? And the Banjo-Tooie, it said a year, right? So, wait. They still got the Banjo-Kazooie style gibberish, which is always charming. Meanwhile... Put your back into it, Chief! Yeah, I mean, you are an evil scientist. Like, do you not have dynamite or a crane or something? A Mecha Grunty. Now that's interesting. So I guess this takes place before Banjo-Tooie, which is kind of an interesting idea. And the idea of a Mecha Grunty is pretty damn cool, I must admit. They would sort of revisit that idea for Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. So, did she say she's going back to the past? She is so much bigger than the house, that's great. And she's still speaking in rhymes, that's great. He's talking about himself. How old is Mumbo, actually? Oh no, I'm being flushed down Grunty's toilet. This kind of hypnotized me, actually. Oh. Now that's annoying right there. Convenient! It took me a second to get that. Mimba Jumba. Oh, Mumbo Jumbo. No, I mean it. The writing in this game is still great, though. Very on point for the Banjo series. Alright, so the first thing we always talk about are the controls, and this actually doesn't feel too bad. I can actually play this pretty good with the analog stick, which is usually a sign of a game that's aged well, from my perspective. Jumping feels alright, though I gotta be honest, the idea of making Banjo a top-down adventure game like this doesn't really appeal to me. Like, for something like Zelda, this works just fine, but for a 3D platformer like this, I mean, it kind of neuters the platforming aspect, doesn't it? I'm really getting tired of listening to Bazai's voice, though. That is just like nails on a chalkboard. Okay, so now we can do the backpack whack. A decent attack, I suppose. Ugh. I can figure it out for myself, dude. Stop talking. So, can I jump up here? Oh, I can jump up here. I can't jump up there, though. Also, really, like, this is a good example of another reason I don't like this, because it's sort of hard to read the level design. Like, this doesn't look that different from this right here. So, you think you can jump up there to reach it. Or maybe even up here, but no, you can only tell you can't reach it if you stand right here, so that perspective is constantly screwing with you, so yeah, I'm not a big fan of this top-down style that they got going here. You know what would have been really cool for a Banjo-Kazooie game on the Game Boy Advance would have been a Metroidvania title. With Banjo-Kazooie's ever-growing moveset. I think that would be something really cool. Yes, thank you, Bazai. I can figure it out. Just stop talking. Presentation in general is pretty strong, though. They used a lot of assets from the N64 games, and of course digitized them into the game using the same pre-render methods they used for Donkey Kong Country. And I would say it works out pretty well. Like, this is a nice game for the Game Boy Advance, that's for sure. Again, it does look better on hardware. This is the kind of thing that's supposed to be on a smaller screen. If they ever do re-release this game, I hope they do clean up the presentation a little bit. I'm not even reading this, I really don't care. It is a little disappointing that there are no puzzles in this game, though. That was one of the fun aspects of Banjo-Tooie. Also, I just want to point out something about Banjo's animations here. So, when you're running forward, it looks fine. It looks like he's jogging. When he's running to the side, it looks like he's jogging. But when you run upwards, I don't know. It looks like he's prancing like... It's just a very awkward angle. Music is alright too. You listen to it and you immediately think of Banjo, so that's good at least. Yeah, how would you depict underwater stuff in this game is the question I'd ask. Alright, so we got something to the left. Ah, here we go. What button? R. Oh, well, this is easy. I guess there wasn't any other way that they could have depicted swimming in the game. Though, again, it probably would have been much easier if it was just a 2D Metroidvania. Again, with the way Banjo-Kazooie was structured with its progression system, you know, constantly getting new powers that would give you access to new parts of the level. I feel like that would be a perfect fit for a Metroidvania game. Like, am I the only one who's thinking of that? Okay, so I can't get that one yet, so let's look around a little bit more. It's also a little hard to read the levels too. Like in the console game, you can look at things for a distance to get an idea of where you need to go and what you need to do. But here you can only see that stuff if it's right in front of you, so like you sort of have to feel your way through the levels, which isn't ideal. Ah! Maggot! Bleeders. Is that what the Europeans call sheep? Maggot. From that barring creature. I love that. Sheep are always fun. Alright, let's see what else we got here. We go. Jinjo! Hey, you know what? It still does feel like a Banjo game. Like, it has all the charm that fans of the series know and love. Like, it just reeks of what made Banjo so memorable on the N64. A lack of creativity with the game design aside, it is Banjo as I've always known and loved it. I wonder what Banjo-Kazooie would say if she was here. It is sort of a bold choice for the early stage of the game for them to take Kazooie out of the picture. I mean, it is called Banjo-Kazooie. From what I understand, Grunty's Revenge was actually in production a lot longer than you would expect. It originally began production as a Game Boy Color game, and it would have been called Grunty's Curse. And it would have concerned Banjo in another dimension. Kazooie would be kidnapped by Grunty. She would be turned into a monster, along with Mumbo, Bottles, and Humba Wumba. I think this is even referenced at some point. Banjo, when he finds Kazooie later in the game, states that he's surprised that Grunty didn't turn him into a monster. I don't know if that would have been a terribly good plot, but it is an interesting tidbit, isn't it? Okay, it doesn't look like there's much else here, so... I always love the way Banjo swims, just the way he's doing this awkward doggy paddle. I didn't even touch that. Jinjo! Wonder how they came up with that name. Stupid tentacle thingamajigs. Bullseye. Or Bozeye. That was stupid. I apologize. I have a feeling I need Mumbo's help to get in there. Though why a friggin' bear can't just break down a wood door, I'll never know. Oh, Banjo! With all the baddies about. It doesn't feel safe. Too bad. I'm gonna stop doing that, so stupid. I am having fun playing this. Missed. I am not very good at this. Never was one for fishing. Probably why I hate big stages so much. Probably gonna have to take a second try at this. See, can I just restart? No, I can't. Oh dear God. I don't need a refresher on how to play the game. There we go. It wasn't so hard. Bum. So now we gotta do the roll attack. Probably is Banjo's most commonly used attack. Though it's bad how it was in Banjo-Kazooie where you use it and he stops for a second instead of just continuing to roll like he did in Banjo-Tooie. Alright, I can't climb yet. Found another chicken though. The buff barn. What do we have here? Guess that's a boss pad. Okay, it's time to take on Klungo again. Bring it on, Klungo. Ah! Well, that was just as easy as it was in Tooie. Yeah, run away like a little pansy. Ah, come on. That was obviously for Mumbo. I swear, sometimes video games make me feel like I'm stupid. Wait, that didn't come out right. Alright. Alright, let's bring these chickens back to the coop. Alright, I think Bumbo's nearby. Let's go see what he's up to. Ooh, this is nice. I guess we're in the 70s. It's time to disco downtown, baby. So now we are a rat. Moves quite a bit faster than Banjo himself, doesn't he? I wish Star was here. They could probably tell me how fast a rat can actually move. Let's see. Ah, here we go. Something tells me I don't want to touch them gears. Like, here's another good example of this viewpoint sort of being a little awkward. It's kind of hard to tell when it's reached the top there. Depth is just kind of a pain here. Alright, let's go have Mumbo turn me back into a bear. The thought just popped into my head. Who do you think would win in a fight? Yogi Bear or Banjo? I like Banjo, I think. Oh. Alright, I think we got one more move to get from Bonsai, and then we can get out of here. That Genesis twang for the bass is funky. Bullshit. Don't think there's any fall damage in this game though, which is nice. You got it, Buzzy. Honestly, they look more like bridges, don't they? Ah, talking statue! Why does that even bother me? Everything talks in Banjo-Kazooie. Ah man, that knocked me down a good deal, didn't it? Up and down all around. Hey, it's that chicken again. Banzai! Not quite as fun as doing it in 3D, is it? About halfway through the stream, it seems. So far, so good. Kinda wish I was doing this live so I could chat with everyone, though. I'd be curious to hear what Steffi thinks of this game. I was actually surprised at the response I got for Banjo Pilot. I wish I could have done a highlight reel for that. I know I could just go record the YouTube video, but I don't know what it is. Every time I do that with OBS, the sound gets messed up. I think it's something that YouTube put in there to prevent video piracy, which I can't really fault them for. Alright, let's have a look at my totals. It's like I'm... Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to get the Jiggy from the statue. Oh, that's great. That is glorious right there. I guess that's where I'm headed next. Da 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 da. Open up, Jigsaw. You know, it does kind of make you wonder, what do these Jigsaw guys look like under the robes? It's nice that it's showing me how to get to the level. Da 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 da. I need to stop doing that. I'm gonna annoy anyone who's watching. Oh wait, I know. Ah, wrong button. Looks like we're hitting the beach. Hopefully there are significantly less sharks in these waters. Stupid clams. If they snip at you, they'll steal some of your items, so you gotta be careful. Guess that's what he's talking about right there. Did not mean to do that. Did not think... Oh, yeah. Don't know why I thought I could jump on him. I know you can find Kazooie in this level. I'm gonna try to get her first before I do anything else, just so I can have some gameplay footage of Banjo with her for you guys. here, maybe? Not this way. Oh, there's another shell. Grunty's quarry. Always found that to be a fun word, quarry. Sounds like money. Even though I think quarries are supposed to be a bad thing. Nah. I was around here somewhere. Yeah, that's where I need to get to. That's a little menacing. Bring it on, you old hag. Oh, definitely brought it. Feel like she's definitely getting faster. Not too hard to avoid, though. Come on, you stupid witch. How can the sun be in your eyes? You don't have eyes. Ah, see? Right there. Great, now Kazooie's giving me tutorials. That's what she's talking about. Alright, let's get out of here. Wasn't there a Jiggy somewhere? Ah, there it is. Still can't do the flap though, which is weird. Alright, let's get out of here and go see Bonsai. I think he's got a few moves to teach Kazooie. 15 minutes left on the stream, so I think I'm timing this perfectly. Alright, so... Oh, I like that. Being able to pull Kazooie out like that at any time. You can even jump with it too, that's cool. Ooh, that's ominous. Yeah, stupid skull thingamabobber. Oh. Well, that was easy. I was gonna take a hit from that guy. That almost blends in, doesn't it? You wouldn't know that's there if it wasn't for this thing. Dah! I got a coworker with that same problem, and I always feel so bad when I talk to him. I don't know which eye to look at. Oh, so now I can flap. Yeah, man, that's annoying. So it's just a game of keep away. Avast-G! No! Me booty! Yeah, a hard time controlling this. Get back here! It's mine! Oh, Banjo, move! 1 second! Ha! That does sound like a club I would enjoy being part of. Especially considering that recently, evidently it's okay for Americans to engage in piracy. Oh, we are in so much trouble. Banjo! Not sure it's a good idea to be swimming out to sea. I'm afraid a shark is going to come at me for some reason. Ah. I think I've essentially run out of things to say at this point. It's a good thing that the stream is going to be ending in another 10 minutes. Hey, it's a stinking dolphin. I suppose I can help out. Dive! 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 Do you like the music that plays here? Yeah, find some air. Here's a stupid dolphin. I guess this is what he's talking about. The haunted hold. Oh, that was fun. Where are we at on totals here? About halfway through the level. Here I come. Ripovsky. Does sound like there's some degens that need their asses whooped. Looks like I'm gonna need Mumbo's help to get in there. Why do I keep attacking, jumping instead of attacking? Alright, let's get a move on. Free! Are Brigos a real creature? Ah. Alright, I think there's one more somewhere. With the Jiggy, I say. Alright, I guess I gotta turn back into Banjo.
Go.
3 more minutes. Alright, how do I get up there? Ah, this way. Upsy-daisy. Oh, another Bonsai. Alright, so it's nice you don't have to hold the button too. Guess we got another slide we gotta do. We'll do this and then we'll call it for the night. Okay, then why was that hole there? Jinjo! Actually, we're about to roll over, so I think we're gonna go ahead and stop it here. Okay, so Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge. If you've ever wanted to play Banjo-Kazooie on the Game Boy Advance, it is exactly what you think it is. And that I want to stress, it's not necessarily to say that the game is bad. I think this is actually a pretty decent adaptation of, the N64 games to the handheld, to 2D gameplay as opposed to 3D gameplay. But at the same time, I just feel like more could have been done with this. Like, again, I feel like Banjo-Kazooie could have made for a really good Metroidvania, which is what I would have done if I had made a Banjo-Kazooie game for the Game Boy Advance. But at the same time, it's not like Banjo-Kazooie's Grunty's Revenge does anything bad or wrong or anything like that. The graphics are fine. The writing is still on point. There's some creativity with the story, even if not a whole lot is done with the time travel mechanic. The controls are fine. The music is fine. Everything is just fine. It's fine. That is how I would describe Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. This isn't necessarily a game that I would say necessarily needed to exist, but it is interesting. So from now on, we're going to be asking, should you play the game? Should we preserve the game? Or should we scrap the game? And I would say preserve the game because, again, it is interesting enough to warrant its existence, but not interesting enough to where I would encourage people to seek out and play it. Not necessarily good, not necessarily bad, just average. But anyway, that's going to do it for tonight, guys. If you enjoyed tonight's content, please be sure to like and subscribe. Do these videos every Saturday at 8 o'clock. What I do is take a game, play for about an hour, and just talk about the design, the history, and all that good stuff. Because I enjoy talking about that stuff, and I want to create a place where I can talk about it with other people. What I do not do is play games from start to finish, because I feel like you lose something if you aren't playing the game yourself. But no disrespect to anyone who chooses to consume video games by watching other people play it on YouTube. That being said, if there's anything you would like me to cover in this format, please leave it in the comments. If I think it's worth looking at, I'll be sure to take a look. But apart from that, I hope you all have a good night, and I'll see you next time.